Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very different, kind of special edition of the Geeking Out podcast. I, of course, am the Athletic Geek, and this is kind of something I've been wanting to do as part of the podcast for quite some time. I've always wanted to get my fellow wrestling fan friends together to create a Mount Rushmore of whatever in the world of wrestling, the Rushmore of wrestling, if you will. And I thought, what better way to debut this sort of concept than, well, with the big event that is coming up very, very shortly, the Royal Rumble, where the part of the year, the pay per view that even some of the most diehard WWE haters can still get excited for. And what better people to discuss it with than my normal co host on the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show? I have Eric Wade with us,
What's up, you guys? How you doing?
and I have EZ with us.
Hello.
And the concept of this series of videos is every one of our panelists, today we got three, sometime in the future we might have four, we might have two, we might have five, who knows? However many people want to be part of such a such a project like this. We each give what we feel are the top four best of the topic of discussion for the day. In this case today it is the Royal Rumble. We're all going to make our case for our four, what we feel are the four best Royal Rumbles. We're going to see which ones we agree on, which ones we disagree on, and through the agreement and pleading our cases, we're going to try and create a collective Mount Rushmore of Royal Rumble matches. And if we, through much deliberation, cannot come up with a top four or a Mount Rushmore, then we will leave the open spots to you, the fans, to vote on in social media. And then we will determine what is the Athletic Geek Mount Rushmore of, in this case, Royal Rumbles. So, we're going to start off with EZ. Let's go through very briefly what your top four are and why they are your top four.
All right. So, for my top four, and I did this very unique where I picked one Rumble from each decade. Which decade or I guess which year I believe was the best Royal Rumble in that particular decade. So, since Rumble debuted in 1988, I'm actually going to have to go with the very first one, and it may not have been the most perfect as it is this year. It is still significant. The Royal Rumble debuting in 1988 at Cops Coliseum in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Boo. It's a Toronto thing. Don't ask about it. But, and also consider this that this was not a pay per view as we know and love about WrestleMania. This
No, it
was
was a
on
TV special.
television.
Yes.
This was on television. And it actually amazes me because I've been to Cops Coliseum a couple of times, and it amazes me when you go into the arena and it's really small, yet the capacity of it can fit up to 19,000 people. Because when it was originally built,
Um,
Hamilton wanted an NHL team.
well, let me
That's
let me
very
let me just
matter
ask you a
too.
quick question there. Just a little sidebar. You say
Absolutely.
really small but can fit a lot of people. So would it kind of be kind of akin to MSG where it's a smaller arena but it does fit a good
In a
number of
way,
people?
yeah. In a
Okay.
I
way.
thought MSU was pretty big, actually, though, as
Uh,
compared to like what we
It
have here in LA.
to me,
Right,
but
but
it also felt really small too.
yeah,
Like for G1.
but
But
go on with the Royal Rumble. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
it's all good. But yeah, and you know, despite being only just a television event, it actually still I guess had some pretty decent matches. Apart from the
Well,
fact that
we're only going by Royal Rumble matches
Royal
themselves.
Rumbles. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Now for Hacksaw Jim Duggan, everyone's favorite. Hi-oh!
Oh,
For him to be honestly the first Rumble winner is it's astonishing, and it's also a little bit saddening because what is the one thing you really think of when it comes to Hacksaw Jim Duggan? Just for he's an American patriot, he carries a 2x4, and he was the very first winner of the Royal Rumble. But what else do you also remember him by? Okay, well, um, He won the very first Royal Rumble. Okay, well, what happened afterwards? Well, he went on to just become like our American Patriots. That's honestly the one thing that I kind of feel sad is like, how's that Jim Duggan? He's got to be honestly
He
such a
did
fun person to be around.
absolutely.
Yet,
He did beat Stone Cold or a pre Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WCW US title at one point, but that's neither here nor there for Royal
he's really
Rumbles.
just been the kind of legends guy. You know, everyone loves him
Yes.
because he carries a 2x4 and he chants out USA, USA. The only time you'll ever hear me chant that too. So, eh,
So we owe a debt of gratitude to Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And interesting enough, when I'm actually even looking at the Royal Rumble like entries, Hulk Hogan isn't in this, which is
No,
interesting.
quite a little sidebar for those who don't know. At the first Royal Rumble, he wasn't in a match. They did the contract signing for the rematch with him and Andre for a Saturday
Oh,
night's main
true,
event.
true.
So that's why he was not in a match. But we're focused on the matches, the Rumble
Yeah,
matches themselves for this one.
yeah. Okay. Now, and also for the very first Rumble, we only had 20.
Hmm.
So, yeah, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, he came in at number 13, and he ends up winning the whole thing, and went on to headline every WrestleMania. No, actually, it was
That
not.
was before that was a
No,
stipulation,
no,
but
there was no stipulation yet for a WrestleMania. That wouldn't occur until 1992. When actually no, not 92, 93. When
well,
uh
92. We'll get to that later. But
92,
yeah, you're
yeah,
right.
anyways.
The title shot WrestleMania came at 93. But
Yeah,
that's a
sorry.
good
No,
point.
I read the wrong thing. I read the wrong thing.
No, you're
So
absolutely right. That's some really good points for 88. But you
I got
mentioned
the
you did one.
Wikipedia up. That's why.
Well, you did some. You mentioned you got one from the 90s. What's the next one?
All right. Well, that was the 80s.
Yeah.
So 90s, we go to the grand year of 1997 when Royal Rumble goes to the Alamo Dome for the very first time, and Stone Cold Steve Austin in his home state winning it, eliminating Canada's greatest treasure, Bret Hart. And
Here's one. I know we're talking about Royal Rumble matches only, but something even
Mhm.
bigger happened on that card. Somebody won the title back in their hometown, and I want you to say who it is.
um Jose Lothario.
Well,
Oh
he
no,
was in the
sorry
guy.
you.
Well, he trained this guy. Well, he trained the guy, so you were kind of right.
Yeah, it was some guy named Michael Sean Hickenbottom, better known as Shawn Michaels, who beat Psycho Sid. But yeah, we're
But the
only talking
Rumble
the
matches
Royal
themselves,
Rumble here.
yes.
Oh, and actually, even a fun part, there were some AAA wrestlers in this particular match. There was, I hope, and if I butcher any of the names, I'm very sorry. There was Perolf, who came in at 9, Mile
Mil Muertes.
Mil
Mascaras.
Mascaras, yes.
Yep. Sil Bernetico.
Cibernetico.
Yeah. Michelle, if you are listening to this video, I am very sorry for the butchering. Latin Lover,
That's
and
easy.
that was it.
But
Yeah. And in
yeah,
And
this
that's a
particular
good point.
Rumble, we actually did have 30. And The Undertaker was the number 30. Interesting, interesting. But overall,
okay.
there's some names obviously that I don't recognize because I was only two. Or actually, wait, what? When did this happen? Oh, I was just about to turn two in a week or so. But no, I guess for like these two have grown up with it. There's like some significant superstars that came into this contest. Your number one and two was Crush and Ahmed Johnson. I
Ahmed
think I said that
Johnson.
right.
Ahmed
Ahmed
Johnson.
Okay, yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Those are your number one. Stone Cold came in at number 5.
And
They
Ahmed
win this,
Johnson.
and it turned into like one of his 3 Royal Rumble winners. And whereas the following year, he has been honestly
I
the only person in history to win back-to-back Royal Rumbles.
nope,
Actually, wait, no,
nope,
sorry,
nope.
Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels. I know,
And Hulk
95,
Hogan.
96.
And Hulk Hogan. He's one of
Okay.
3. Yep.
Oh, right. Oh yeah, 90, 91.
Hmm.
Has he won 3? I only
I don't
see
know if he's
2.
won 3, but I know Hogan,
Stone Cold won three, back
Sean,
to
and
back two.
yeah, Hogan,
Somebody
Sean, and
else did
Austin
back to
did
back
back to back.
two also.
It's funny you mentioned this one because this is just a fun fact. This is
It
The
might be
only
Roman, to be
this is
honest.
the only Rumble. Roman's only won one Royal Rumble. But this is the only Royal Rumble that Stone Cold won where he did not get a title shot at WrestleMania. Uh, Stone Cold's program with Bret Hart was going on at this time, and he ended up having the classic match at WrestleMania 13 with Bret, but there was no title on the line. But still, it is a significant moment because this is really where.
Was that the one where he almost got his neck broken because of
No,
Brett?
that was
Or
Owen. That's the one.
oh,
That's the one where he was like bleeding so bad. And there's the big iconic image of the blood running into Austin's teeth
No, he
okay.
took
in
a
the sharpshooter.
nasty pile driver from Brett during the Royal Rumble match, but the pile driver that he got hurt was
Was
from
Owen.
Owen.
Owen, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, but
Right.
okay, so that that
So
that
yeah, that
that's
was
an
the
interesting
'90s
choice.
right
So
there.
90s. So that's your '90s
Now
pick.
my next one. Flash forward 10 years later. We're back in San Antonio, but not at the Alamo Dome. We're at the AT&T Center, where honestly, just for the first time in a long time, we saw the Undertaker finally win the Royal Rumble. And honestly, in my opinion, like this Rumble match was just it was awesome. Like it's been a while like since I've seen it, but just like although you had honestly, yeah, you had ECW superstars debuting for the first time in this Rumble match. So you had Tommy Dreamer, you had Sabu, you had CM Punk, the Sandman, Rob Van Dam, Kevin Thornton, Hardcore Holly, and Undertaker just coming in at number 30 and eliminating. Let me see. I think it was some guy named Shawn Michaels. Yeah, it was. It
Well,
was.
well, it's actually kind of funny. We'll get to more of this, but like that was also kind of the beginning of the last two kind of having the match within the Royal Rumble match.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
also this was
Wait, what
essentially
what number
But
was this?
oh
and
07. And this is also
and
kind of the beginning of kind of the 4 year long sort of program that Shawn and Taker would have, culminating over two Royal Rumbles and two WrestleManias.
Mhm. And how funny the guy that ends up losing the Rumble is the one who gets the main event at WrestleMania.
Eh,
Like yeah, Shawn Michaels had the main event at WrestleMania 23 against Cena,
yeah, I mean
who
you
he
can't.
ended up losing.
Yeah, you,
Undertaker Batista, they were the mid card.
yeah, but let's just be straight up honest. Big Match John and the Showstopper is a better match than. I'm not saying
I would
Undertaker's not
think
good, but Batista.
Taker Batista, that would have been like an amazing main event there. And
It just
Batista,
it wouldn't have been as good. It wouldn't have been as good as Shawn and Cena because Batista's just not that good.
uh, but he was in. But didn't he main event WrestleMania 21 and won?
And it wasn't that good. But that's not what we're talking about
Okay,
tonight.
I'm just saying, like, I don't know, but anyways, yeah.
But okay, that's a good choice, and
Royal
you'll see
Rumble
why
20
later.
2007. You know, like, and I have the DVD back in Toronto. Like, I can't remember the last time I popped it on, but honestly, and just the match card itself was honestly just pretty awesome, just my opinion. And now for my number four, and a little bit biased, but it's mainly because I was there. It was awesome. That was my birthday weekend, and just again, this was also the very first time it was held at a baseball stadium, and please let it be that way. WrestleMania can be in big stadiums. Royal Rumble can be in baseball stadiums. Royal Rumble 2009 for the very first time
You mean
being
19?
held at a baseball stadium in Chase Field. Just this just was awesome. Like just the entire
Now is it
show,
the
and
the men's rumble match or the women's rumble match?
well, honestly, both in my opinion. I thought they
You
were
got to pick
amazing.
only one. You can only pick one. Which one are you going with?
Ooh, hoo. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with the women's one. I don't
Okay.
know. I think I just found more, I guess, like value from the women's rumble because like this was only the second time we finally had a women's Royal Rumble because it took them God knows how long to finally get one started, and everyone was like wondering, oh, when's Becky gonna come out? Because everyone was saying, Becky Lynch is gonna win, and if I know Geek remembers that like my pick to win was Nikki Cross because shut up. Um, but no, like when we see like Lana coming out, but earlier she got unfortunately attacked by Nakamura and she just couldn't compete. And then you see Becky just walking out there. Everyone just starts pumping out, chanting Becky, Becky. And you see him like pleading with Finley. And then just Finley having no
Biggest
choice. Goes,
moment of
go
Finley's
ahead.
career.
Go ahead. You know? I'm amazed actually why there's never been a Becky Lana rivalry. Because it's like, hang on, you stole. What? Actually, wait, is she in a Russian or American accent again now? I didn't watch Raw.
I don't
Or
know.
I don't know, but it's like, Becky, you stole my spotlight. I could have won the Royal Rumble had it not happened. I want to fight you to get that spot. But, anyways, I don't know. I think something could have happened. But honestly, like 2019 in general was just Becky's fucking year.
Hmm.
And just the Raw after Rumble when, like on the SmackDown, or sorry, not like Raw Rumble, like I'm mixing it up a little bit. But when SmackDown after Rumble was happening and like just Becky coming out and just crowds, everyone, it was just noisy. You couldn't hear a single thing. And I would mention a certain Raw Women's Champion, but I feel like nobody cares about UFC, but it's whatever. But yeah, so
Okay, that's a
anyways,
good.
so
That's a decent
those are
list. I can respect that one.
now honorable mention, obviously, just my opinion. I thought the men's rumble was also awesome. I just wish there was more NXT stars because I was honestly a little disappointed by that.
Okay.
Because we
Well,
only had Gargano, Pete Dunne, and Aleister Black, which is like, really nobody from the Undisputed Era.
hmm,
Adam Cole didn't even fight in that NXT takeover.
um,
That was freaking there.
so we're gonna go
But
to
anyways, yeah.
Eric now.
So to recap,
Eric, yeah, yeah,
88,
we have
97, 2007,
yep,
2019.
okay, respectable list. So Eric's next, and I know me and Eric are the two with the WWE Network that did some marathoning for this particular project, and
Yeah, sorry guys, I couldn't do my research. I had a thing called a job.
oh, we do too,
So
but we
good.
have a thing called
I
no
know.
life. Um,
True.
so
Uh,
Eric, let's hear your Mount Rushmore of Royal Rumble matches.
All right. I try to do the same thing where I mix it around where like I try to choose one from each decade or try to spread it. But I started with the 92 one and I just thought it was kind of boring because there was no entrance music for the entrance and it was just kind of like overhand clubs most of the thing where you can see the evolution of it the more you watch it where they were
Right.
just doing like more spots or just more entrances really made people pop and stuff. But I was gonna go with 97 like easy went with, but I ended up going with 98 because
ooh. Okay.
Hmm.
Austin won again, but you can see the evolution year to year because in '97 too, like The Rock comes out with plain trunks, I think, and then '98 he comes out with like the Rock trunks, and then later, I think in '01 or something, he comes out with like full Brahma Bull. But even same with Austin, they come out. He has the same music. He already had the Shattered Glass music, but you can see the evolution in Austin too. By '98, he was a full blown rock star when like his music hits and stuff. There was
Wasn't
never
that
a
also
pop.
the beginning of the Attitude Era around that time?
Kind of
Well,
like
97,
90,
96
97.
too.
Yeah, 97. It was kind of like it was kind of that transition time where it's like it wasn't fully Attitude Era, but it
But,
clearly was no longer
but didn't
the
it start after the
the
screw job?
cartoony era.
Didn't it start after the screw job though?
A lot of people cite that as kind of like a jumping on point, but like the Attitude Era itself was like really beginning to show even before the screw job. I mean, like it definitely was no longer the cartoony, family friendly WWFE anymore when you have, Stone Cold Steve Austin flipping the bird and swearing, and you have Triple H and Shawn Michaels pointing to their dicks saying, suck it. You know, obviously the wholesome family era of the WWF was gone by that time, but again, like it was kind of heading that direction in '97. But at the same time, there were also still storyline elements in '97 that clearly, when the Attitude Era began, you wouldn't be having. Like, you wouldn't be having, you know, some of the
Kind of the
characters,
same.
you
It's kind of
know.
the same with music. Before there was Nirvana, there was Alice in Chains or whatever, but Nirvana was the one that made it big.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same thing with this, where it was like you can say Attitude Era started in just '95, like with all the people that were there, but
right.
the
Hmm,
more it
interesting.
evolved, then the more that like, and especially with WCW starting and the rating grab of the
NWO
when
and
in the
stuff, yeah.
wars, that's when it was like fully blown in your face metal. We're printing shirts now with a middle finger on it. Before it was just like we had it involved in the
But
programming, but now they're
didn't
like,
wasn't Disturbed also like the didn't they make Austin's theme actually for a while? Like
yeah, a lot of people,
yeah.
well, a lot
Yeah.
of
I
bands
don't
tried to
really like that one. I just felt like it's way too heavy
Oh,
metal.
I,
Like there's
I I
only
like the
no
start. I like the theme, but I just there nothing beats classic
uh,
Austin theme.
a lot of bands started doing theme
yeah.
songs like when
And I
Biscuit,
still
Disturb,
yeah, so I was gonna say Undertaker Limp Bizkit, best combo ever. I don't care what anybody else says.
but
Out of
well,
all
maybe
his
even in
theme
this one, I
songs,
don't know if
I
you had,
prefer Rollin'.
and I think in '98 or maybe it was '01, he came out to the Roland theme, and it was pretty like everyone fucking popped
It,
hard.
it would be
But
it'd be
in this one, in
it'd
the
be it'd
'98
be
one
'01
was
because in '98 that's when he wrestled in the casket match that
Mhm.
broke Sean's back.
yeah, but in the '98 one too, like I was saying with Rock evolving, like by this point he was they said that he had an he was the intercontinental champion versus like him and Shamrock earlier in the match or whatever.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
this is the one where Foley appeared with all three gimmicks too.
yeah.
So he like lost as
Oh,
Mankind,
really?
came back as Dude Love, and then came back as Cactus Jack. So yeah, that was pretty. By that point, though, all three of those characters were established, though, too. So like in Attitude, that's what I was saying. Where it's like it kind of started a little bit before '99 ish because um,
Hold up. So just
by
to make
this point,
sure.
everyone knew who those
Mhm.
people were. So,
So did he
but
come out
and
three
then
times or four times?
three times.
Three
Three
times.
times.
He
Okay,
wasn't.
we'll
He
go with
wasn't
that.
just Foley. He was just Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack.
Okay,
But
just
then
making sure.
this is the first, at least, Royal Rumble appearance for Mark Henry too, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Okay.
So okay, that's
Imagine.
'98. That's
Actually,
why
I
'98's on
just.
your list. Why? What's your next pick?
So I try to skip ahead like how easy did. That's just I think that was like the best way to do it. Really, is try to do it like decades if you can or whatever. I guess,
Right.
but I'm gonna go with '05. I was gonna go with '01. Did you do that one easy? I was trying to
I
write
didn't
down the
do
ones.
2001. No,
I was trying to write down the
no, I
numbers
did
you were doing.
2007.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did have
seven. Okay.
seven.
Seven.
Because '01 was almost similar to '98, where it was like now all these characters got just turned up to 11. Even Kane had like that see-through kind of mesh outfit.
Hmm.
Undertaker, I think, came out to roll in. The Rock was like full,
And Kane
probably.
had a hell of a performance in '01 too. Like he really had a great performance in the 2001 Royal Rumble.
But I'm gonna choose '05. And '05, this one's crazy too because I think so this is when our Truth
Batista
made
won
his
that,
first
right?
dump Rumble debut. For what?
Batista won that, right?
Yeah, it was when hit Batista and
Okay.
Yes.
Cena. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I should have said. Austin
Yeah.
won the first one. This one, Batista ended up winning.
yeah.
But
That one was like the
our
weirdest finish ever. And then of course
yeah,
Vince McMahon looking like a looking like a weirdo, sitting on the ring like, what the hell are you guys doing? Because well, he tore his ACL.
Sure, both of them, both of them. His
Oh,
ACL
wait, it was both
or
of
both his
them.
quad. It was both his quads. Yeah, he come in and he tore both his quads at the same time.
but
Oh my god! I thought it was only one of
No,
them
he
all this
tore
time.
both. I can't remember if it was quadricep or ACL, but
I thought it was an
both. It was
ACL.
both. I can't remember
Let's
which
see.
one. Whatever
I'm
it
gonna
was, it
look
was
at.
both of them.
I'm gonna find that.
But so
Oh
why'd
my
you
god.
pick? Why is '05 in your Mount Rushmore, Eric?
no, this one was good. But it's just cool to see. '05 is when our Truth made his debut, but he was K Quick. Um,
That was '01.
Minoru Suzuki was in this match.
No, that wasn't Minoru Suzuki. I can. That was
It wasn't.
Kenzo Suzuki.
Oh shit.
Different guy.
Um, But
Truth was in
Shelton,
this? Where?
yeah, and then Shelton
I
Benjamin
see. I
was in
thought
this
I
too
thought
for
our
his
truth was in
Rumble
TNA
debut.
at this time. I'm gonna have to go back and re. That's one of them I didn't rewatch. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch that.
Oh,
I might.
Because they even
I
said like this is the guy from because this is the so like Easy was saying earlier how for '97 he said they had the AAA guys and then they were showing like ECW guys. This is one of the last ones I noticed where they were saying that this is a guy from Japan from a different promotion. Where
yeah, that's
after
Kenzo
this it was kind of
Suzuki.
just only WWE people or only NXT people call ups or
Right.
only whatever it was. But yeah, they
Um.
said Minoru Suzuki, so I don't know. But
It was
and at this point, he just
It
had
was
like longer
Kenzo
hair.
Suzuki. They might have made a mistake, but it was Kenzo Suzuki. And doing a little fact check. Our Truth was not in the '05 Rumble, so it might have been
yeah.
somebody else. He was not in that one.
Yeah, his art, Cake Quick, Cake, whatever his
He
name
was in
or whatever
'01,
his.
but he wasn't in '05. I mean, I'm
Are
just
you sure he didn't mix him up with Orlando Jordan?
that could be
No,
Okay.
okay because
well,
Okay.
so
How bone chilling is this that the number one and two of that Rumble was Eddie and Benoit?
yeah.
yeah, they fucked up some new kid from the Tough Enough show or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
Interesting.
and then Cake Quick came out. Our Truth for sure. It was him.
I'm looking at the
Look it up.
I'm looking. Uh,
Did the
Oh,
Undertaker really
fuck.
have a match against Heinrich? Really?
yeah, they kind of didn't know what they're doing.
Anyways, now we're only
It
talking
said
Rumble matches.
Cake Quick. He was in there for a while too.
Um
But that was one of the notes I wrote down.
I do not see his name on the article I'm reading. Um but I'm not taking anything away from what you've seen, but I mean, on the article that I read, I'll have to go back and rewatch it myself. But according to this, it is Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Daniel Pewter, Hardcore Holly, Hurricane, Kenzo Suzuki, Edge, Rey Mysterio, Shelton Benjamin, Booker T, Chris Jericho, Luther Reigns, Muhammad Hassan, Orlando Jordan, Scotty Too Hottie, Charlie Haas, Rene Dupree, Simon Dean, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Jonathan Coachman, Mark Jindrak, Viscera, Paul London, John Cena, Gene Snitsky, Kane, Batista, Christian, and Ric Flair. That is the entrant list
And
according
Ric
to the
Flair,
website. Yeah,
Jesus
Ric Flair.
Christ.
Yeah, but still, it was a good rumble, especially with how the finish, and it was kind of the jumpstart path of. I mean, I may have just kind of shit all over Batista. He is not one of my favorite wrestlers, although I do love him as Drax the Destroyer. But it was the beginning of both kind of Cena and Batista's run to the main event, and obviously Cena went on to transcend pro wrestling, but still a good final. Even if it was complete action, it was a great final
Honestly, yeah, just the
spot.
one on one was pretty good.
Um, so okay, you got those
So
two.
now,
Eric,
now
what's
just it does bring me up to that one question. So why didn't we do that for Bret Hart and Lex Luger?
you try to apply logic to illogical situations, easy. But I agree with you.
Like
100%, I agree with you.
the thing,
Um,
the
well,
WWE really loves
the only way I can.
WWE really loves screwing over Canadians. Eh?
But Bret Hart ended up winning the title, and Lex Luger
Yeah,
sucked
it's
the rest of
still
the
it's
time.
like it's
I'm also gonna say
whatever.
this:
Whatever.
one was meant to be a tie, and the other was not meant to be a tie, so maybe that's why.
Uh-huh.
But okay. So what is number 3 on your Mount Rushmore, Eric?
Number three, I'm gonna go with 2016 because they haven't. So in
Oh.
'92 they entered as the champion, and then whoever won at the end was the champion. And
Yeah.
then I don't know if they dropped that. Kind of, I don't know if they
I'll
changed that at
explain that more when
'92
we
or
get to
when was
my
the last time they did
list.
it.
I'll explain that more when we get to my list. But go on.
But in 16 they picked it back up where Roman. This is when Roman was getting booed the shit out of. So they tried to do something different with it by
Yeah.
having him enter the as the champ, and then obviously he entered at number one, so he wasn't going to win the whole thing. But they tried to swerve the audience by having him get hurt in between, so he had to get taken up by an ambulance, so he didn't get eliminated. So he came back later, or whatever. but
Hmm.
he still ended up losing to Triple H, who went on to headline. And it was pretty cool. This was a good Rumble, but
Biggest part
some
of
of the
this
notes
match,
I had
though.
were
Biggest
this
part.
is the debut of AJ,
Hmm.
Oh wait, but
which
it
is
did.
really good.
Yeah, but it did ended up giving us the worst WrestleMania of all time. But anyways, that's just my opinion. A very valuable opinion.
I don't know if I'd
Well,
say it's the worst, but I'd definitely say it's one of the worst. So I will agree with you partially. But
But
anyway,
um,
but
yeah,
yeah, the
the 2016 Rumble, like giving us the debut of AJ Styles, nobody saw that coming. And when I first heard the music, I was like, "Is this somebody from NXT?" It was like can't be, as otherwise people would freak out. But the moment, I guess, when you heard the cheers, and then you see like a hooded little guy, and then you see the icons like AJ Styles, like holy shit, he's here.
yeah. Oh yeah, that was I think I remember because had to work late at my job that night, and I ended up like having to watch it later. So I just like kept my phone off and got home, and I had my girlfriend at the time and a friend of mine were like, "All right, let's watch this." And it gets to that point, and I think I remember just like I was really tired, and I was just. Oh fuck Roman Reigns, whatever. Phenomenal. What? Oh my god! Oh my god! Like literal mark out moment, screaming like a little girl. Yeah, that was me. I'm like immediately energized. JJ's in WWE. It's great.
Just like Chris Jericho invading All In, just nobody saw that coming.
Hmm. That's a good pick. What is your fourth entrant on the Mount Rushmore, Eric?
Hello. Oh,
Eric.
he's on mute. He's on mute.
all right, so hold on. So AJ debuted, which is pretty cool. That was Neville's first debut and Braun's first debut too.
Hmm.
Out of all the different pay-per-views I was watching up to this point too, besides Stone Cold, the person getting the most consistent loud ass pops was Jericho, which is pretty nice because throughout his whole career he's been
Oh, wait. Wasn't this
pretty
also
loved or whatever.
the return of Sami Zayn?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that when I see him, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then just the camera turning to Kevin Owens, like, "Oh, this is about to get very, very amazing."
Yeah, it's funny to watch Sami Zayn because with his buzzed head I didn't recognize him. it's
Right.
it's
Well,
funny to go.
I knew he was out in injury, like I had heard of him before, but I wasn't aware about the rivalry between him and Owens at the
I'm just
time
used to his look
until
now.
the
It's hard to go
U.S.
back
Open
and look at
challenge.
him then. Same with Rusev and a few of these guys that were going on the list, like when Triple H came out, like in the '90s and stuff. He went through a bunch of body changes that people don't really talk about. But at one point, he was super chubby and shit. He's coming out like a fat chub. And then same thing with Sami Zayn, where it's like these people they go through different looks. It's Ziggler, he has a different music and different fucking pants every single Rumble too. But I don't know, it's pretty. It's great. Like I said, I watched a bunch of these things, so fucking. I was just
My
like, goddamn.
opinion, and again, this is only my opinion. I would have rather had Dean Ambrose win it. That's it. That's it.
I agree with that.
Yeah, especially I think in the
Otherwise,
15 one too, the
if Dean
Wyatts
had
were
won
like
it,
red
he would
hot.
have helped. He would still be with WWE today.
Maybe.
But
All
no,
Don't
right,
wish. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
so my final pick,
Yeah,
final pick.
your
final
final
pick,
one.
final pick. I'm gonna go with this last one because 2020.
All right.
Although
Wait,
although
wait,
so
men or
they
women?
they
Men or
well hold
women?
on wait well, let me finish it then you guys
Okay,
can talk
okay.
really quick. They so they've been doing this a lot too, where like a person will come out and then they'll have kind of like Roman Reigns did it, like I just said the last pick, where he came out and then he held his ground for a long time, and so
Right.
they've been doing this for a while too, where it's like someone will come out and then they'll kind of be like the boss that you have to go through. 2020 was kind of perfect, where Brock
Mm-hmm.
Lesnar was the boss that you had to go through because unlike a lot of people, I am a Brock Lesnar fan, where it's like especially in like playing video games or being into comics and stuff, you always have that big boss that you're trying to go through, and he
Mm-hmm.
was like the big boss of WWE for so long. So having him come out and being like, "Yeah, I'm already the champion, but I'm gonna enter myself and just like hold the guard," kind of thing. And then he gets eliminated by Drew, which leads to one of the best feel good moments of, and I mean, without fans or whatever, it kind of sucked, but still led to like one of the best feel good moments of the WrestleMania history of Drew winning it. So
Right.
kind of cool for that one. But yeah, I like the last one too. So hopefully this one
I
with
guess
Evolution will be
I guess
good too.
another significant mention was like I guess that was the last big pay per view WWE had before the pandemic ruined
Right.
everything.
Exactly.
It was
And I know
Yeah.
you know, some of the people that listen to this don't check out our live stream, but when we did our year-end awards for the live stream, while some people had this as one of their top 10 best matches of the year was this match, and I agree it wasn't one of mine, but like I can honestly say that this match was WWE booking to perfection. Um, for a company that kind of, at least in the fan community, and we kind of see all the missed opportunities and how it's like, oh, if only they would have done this, or if only WWE would have done this, or if only WWE would have done this, it would have been great. This is one where like the only people complaining about the 2020 Royal Rumble are people that just didn't want to enjoy it. Even some of the most cynical anti WWE people were going, "Whoa, this was pretty fucking cool." So yeah, I agree. This was a great, great,
Well,
great Rumble.
they, they also had the two, or they also had a women's Royal Rumble this year also for this one. And I mean, as good as it was, or as whatever, the one thing I do remember is the party I was at. The joke was one of the, I think it might have been Mia Yim. I could be wrong about that too, but one of the women came out and she had a face mask on as a part of her gimmick, and the joke someone made in the crowd was, "Oh, but does she have coronavirus?" And because like at that point it was like a couple of weeks like just in the news and it was brand new and everyone laughed because it was like coronavirus, how funny, blah blah. No one thinking it was going to be a major goddamn pandemic that was going to shut down
Right,
the world the next couple of weeks. So I remember that because January. That was January, and then in
right.
March everything shut down. So it was crazy.
Um, okay, so we've got their top four. Now it's time for my top four, and my first one is the one that I know will be controversial, at least to the people that I'm in this call with. But I'm going with 1992. I know Eric said he watched it and he said he couldn't get into it because it was just kind of basic and there's no entrance. And you're right to that point. However, I will also say this is kind of the first time they realized that, hey, we can do more with a Royal Rumble match. This is one where the title was vacant going into the match, so they decided that the winner of the Royal Rumble would win the title. And
When did they decide to add music for the entrances? Because if this had music, it would make it, in my opinion, like two
96,
two points better. 96.
96 was when they started having the
Okay.
music. So this was before that, but like there were so many. I wasn't even watching wrestling at that time, but like just going back and on the network and rewatching the build up. Um, there were so many people that could have won. There was Hogan, there was Savage, there was Flair, there was Sid, there was the
Warrior,
Undertaker. Warrior wasn't in this match. Warrior was gone at this time, but some people thought Warrior would be coming back at
wasn't
this
he?
time. No, he was not. But it was also the first time. It was kind of, I've compared it to WrestleMania 1 and WrestleMania 2 were spectacles, but WrestleMania 3 was when they finally said, "Oh, we can make this thing really huge. Let's put it in a dome. Let's put this really hyped up match. Let's put this great undercard." The 1992 Royal Rumble is where they took the match and they're like, we can do more with this than just make it a glorified battle royal. Like, we can put stakes in it. You have even though he didn't enter at 1 or 2, Ric Flair entered at number 3, and you kind of have your first person to kind of have to really outlast a lot of other people. And it was so creative just how Flair was always able to, you know, usually when you have somebody playing the Iron Man in a match like that, it's a hero's journey. But with Flair, it's just kind of like, what kind of slimy, sneaky bad guy ways can he get out of this? And then the coup de grace, the thing that just makes this Royal Rumble for me is Bobby Heenan, who was Ric Flair's manager at the time, was on commentary, and he was essentially like, you've all had that friend if you watch sports that, or that, you've had that moment where you're just like having a anxiety attack about whatever's happening, and Ric Flair, just anytime Ric Flair's getting ready to be eliminated, Bobby Heenan's just like, that's not fair to Flair. That's not fair to Flair. And then he somehow weasels out and he calms down, and Ric Flair gets his breath, or he eliminates someone and calms down. Then they're back on him. And my favorite moment was when Piper came out. He was another name that could have won as well, Roddy Piper. Him and Flair were kind of having a feud at the time, and
It's a shame Piper's never won the Rumble. That would have been
or the
something.
title. But so Piper, like, Flair's getting ready to be eliminated, and Piper kind of like hits the other guy, and eliminates the other guy, and Bobby Heenan goes like, "Oh, I take back everything I said about you, Piper. It's a kilt, not a skirt. It's a kilt, not a skirt." And then Piper immediately cold cocks Flair, and then Heenan immediately, "Why, you no down rotten? It's a skirt, not a kilt. It's a skirt, not a kilt." That's just prime Bobby Heenan, prime Ric Flair doing what Ric Flair does best. The only thing that takes away from this match is just, Cunt Hogan at the end has to Cunt Hogan. And he couldn't just let Flair eliminate Sid. No, no, no. Hogan's still got to be the fucking center of attention, even though Ric Flair just lasted 60 some odd minutes in a Royal Rumble match to win the title. Hulk Hogan's still got to be the center of attention. So that's, like, to me, the only flaw. And I kind of see what Eric's saying, where if you're used to modern Royal Rumbles, if you're used to the more finished product of the Royal Rumble, uh, maybe you don't hold 92 in its high regard. But if it's kind of one of those, if you can appreciate kind of seeing like this is the beginning of the Royal Rumble becoming that, becoming more than just, hey, here's a battle royal with a bunch of guys and cool, have fun, where you actually see it becoming the spectacle that it is today, I feel it deserves a spot on the list.
Can I
Yeah, but I
also
was gonna say too,
mention
because
that?
with the music, it adds a lot. But as the years went on, the music also got really annoying because the more Nation of Domination members that just came on, and you heard that goddamn song every other person, or then later in the years, you started hearing the Right to Censor theme song where it was just a bong going off,
Ah.
and they had like 10 members, so it was just like, oh my god, like
But at the time, they didn't know anything about
so.
using the theme
Just
music.
imagine
You
if
know what I mean?
imagine if all four Undisputed Era members enter in, and you just hear
Shock the
"Shock
system.
the system." I
Yeah,
wouldn't mind it as much, but I think after the third time, you're like, okay, we all know it's like blah blah blah. Just let him out.
well,
Like,
when they had
like
the
the first
Wyatt
time you'd be
family
like,
too, the
oh,
Wyatt family
like the
music
first
was
time you'd be
mad
like,
Also,
oh
bad.
yeah, Kyle O'Reilly, oh yeah, Roderick Strong, and then you'd be like, oh okay, there's Adam Cole. Shock
baby.
the system. Oh, this is Bobby Fish. It's Bobby Fish's time now, you guys. Um,
Yeah, or
Can I
maybe
also
like the
make
Lucha
note
House
that?
Party music nowadays or something like for every member.
Yeah. Can I also make note that Ric Flair went to WCW a year later
yes, he did.
after '92? Yeah, so I had to look that. I was like, wait, he was only at the WWF for 3 years until
Not
eventually
even
returned
three
in
years, kind of like
2001.
late '91 to early '93. So pretty well
The promo he did after was hilarious too.
with a
He
tear
was
in
just
my
like
eye.
super excited and
Yeah,
wooing like a madman.
yeah.
Wasn't it like he came out and was like, I was told if the money was right that I'd be coming in or something. I don't know. I remember like there was a top 10 list of like WCW legends making their debut to WWE.
Yeah,
And there was
that
like
was.
Flair. It's like,
Well, he took the WCW title with him to WWE, but that's
mm.
another topic for a whole nother day. But yeah, that for those reasons, it's kind of like '92 was the beginning of the Royal Rumble. Was fun, but it was just kind of there. You know, this was the beginning of the Royal Rumble becoming like, oh hey, here is the fun, the beginning of the fun first stop on the road to WrestleMania, and Ric Flair's put on the performance of a lifetime in that match. So I'm going 92. My number two is 2001. Um,
Hey, alright.
I'm going 2001 because this was kind of um, similar to 92, where you just had so many big names and talent in the match. That's kind of '01 where you have
And this is Austin's third win.
this was Austin's third win. This sets
Wasn't this
up.
Yeah.
Kane's most eliminations in
This is
one
his most
match?
eliminations. This sets up eventually down the road the main event of WrestleMania 17. It's the beginning of the road to WrestleMania 17, arguably the best WrestleMania of all time.
Mhm.
But then you also have like the thing that because I didn't get to see 92 as it happened, but I can still appreciate it and kind of put myself in the mindset. This was one that I was watching as it happened, and there was so many people that you thought had the chance to win the Royal Rumble in 2001. You honestly
Including
didn't
Jeff
know
Hardy. Come on, him at number
Yeah,
one.
at one point they had like The Rock, Triple H, Kane, like Stone Cold, and
Undertaker,
then
Stone
like
Cold.
Shamrock, like yeah,
Honky
Mankind.
Tonk Man.
Well, Mankind wasn't in this one because he was the commissioner at the time. But yeah, but like there's so many names
Even
coming out this time.
Grandmaster Sexy.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna say like you had the Hardy Boys, you had Edge and Christian,
Rikishi, yeah,
Rikishi, you had, and then
Hardy Boy,
you
Edge,
had the
yeah.
best celebrity appearance in a wrestling match ever, where Drew Carey comes out and he thinks, "Yay!" and then Kane comes out and he's like, "Oh God, I'm scared now." Like that's actually funny. This is before they oversaturated with
Oh.
that
Now I
shit.
remember. It's like, wait, Drew Carey was in this one. I was like, oh,
But like you
right.
honestly, didn't know who was gonna win. You knew like no disrespect to Jeff Hardy or Edge and Christian, they were making their way. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but
obviously.
like you knew it was like, is it gonna be Rock? Because The Rock has issues with Kurt Angle. It's gonna be Stone Cold. He's got issues with Kurt Angle. Is it gonna be Undertaker? He's got issues with Kurt Angle. Is it gonna be Kane? He's kicking some ass right now. You honestly didn't know who would win. Turns out being Stone Cold, and you know, rest is kind of history, as
Kurt
they
Angle was
say.
in this. Oh
The
yeah,
next month, Kurt Angle lost the title to The Rock, setting up that legendary main event match and setting up the main event to, you know,
wait, Angle lost to Triple H. You said The Rock.
Angle lost the title to The Rock at No Way Out in February.
Oh, sorry. I thought I
Yeah.
heard misread it.
Yeah, because it set
Yeah,
up
this is a
Rock versus
fully
Austin.
stacked card.
Yeah. But still, you never knew who would win. This was kind of, to me, this was the WWE at its best. Kind of like if you could encapsulate, kind of the best era of WWF at the time, this stretch from the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania 17 would kind of be like that encapsulation. So for that reason, it's on my Mount Rushmore.
I think Jericho is in that too because every single Rumble I watched, besides Austin, no one ever got a pop as loud as Austin. But Jericho came close. Whenever you hear his music, the people went crazy for it.
And Jericho's also on the undercard in a ladder match against a guy who shall not be named.
Uh,
Yeah. um, so my next one is actually the first of an agreement that I have with somebody on this list, and that is 2007.
Yay!
So we have 2007 in agreement, just kind of like what I allude to. Uh, Lots of great spots in the match, lots of great eliminations. Comes down to Shawn and Undertaker, where they essentially have another match. Like, they essentially have a singles match at the end of the Royal Rumble match. And it sets up both men getting world title shots at WrestleMania 23. But it also kind of was the beginning of their 4-year long storyline that was going on. Because they faced off at the end of WrestleMania, or at the end of the 2007 Royal Rumble. They faced off at the beginning of the 2008 Royal Rumble. Then they had a confrontation backstage in the 2009 Royal Rumble, sort of teasing their match, which is still probably my favorite match of all time, at WrestleMania 25 later that year. And then finally, WrestleMania 26, Shawn's real retirement from wrestling. No, we're not going to count the Saudi Arabia match. It was kind of the
Oh,
seeds of that whole thing. Um, and again, it was kind of the beginning, like, in later years, they started kind of having the whole, hey, the last two people have essentially a 10-minute singles match after the Royal Rumble. And this was kind of to me, the true beginning of that. Great talent, great match, great ending. 07's on the list.
And another fun fact: this was the first time a number 30 superstar won the match.
Yes, you're absolutely right there. And number
Took the
4
next.
is our second agreement, 2020. Like I said,
Ooh.
this was WWE booking something to perfection. We talked about it on the year end awards and talked about it now, but it's like, you know, the way they they made Lesnar a monster. They made Keith Lee look good, being the first to kind of stagger the monster, but then you got pissed off that the monster still had too much for Keith Lee. But you knew Keith Lee was a big deal after that. And then for Drew McIntyre to not only get the big moment of being the one to eliminate Brock Lesnar, but then to still from there have to survive a gauntlet of other people like that you thought might win the match, like Seth Rollins, like AJ Styles. Edge returned at this Royal Rumble. It was a damn fine Royal Rumble, and it was kind of the last of the happy memories before COVID took over the world. So, yeah, I agree with Eric. 2020 is on the list. Now comes the
And
fun
I'm not going to
part.
speak about the women's match. I'm so pissed at it.
Oh, I still love it.
No.
Woo.
Wrong winner. That's all I'm going to say.
So, we've all given our sides. We've all given our four, what we feel the top four. Now we got to attempt to parlay these into a collective top four. And we've heard everybody's logic. We've heard everybody's kind of thoughts. We have two agreements, even though we don't have a unanimous agreement. But I'm in agreement with two of you. Would the both of you agree that 2007 and 2020 should be on the collective list?
I don't think I watched 2007, so I guess for sure, yeah, I won't dispute it. But
Okay.
2020, definitely.
Well, EZ, do you?
Since both of you guys voted for 2007, I can't dispute it, but even though I didn't watch it, so I'll have to watch it later. But if we can also agree that 20 is good, then yeah, that sounds like both of those should make the list.
Okay. Um. So how do you feel about 2020, EZ? Hello,
Is he there?
EZ?
His microphone's on mute.
Nah.
The only one because I wrote down I'm missing two dates from Easy's list, but the only dates that we had doubled up were 97. I mean, 2020 from my list and your list, and '07 from
Yeah.
Easy's list and your list.
Hopefully, EZ comes back soon so I can get his.
Oh, sorry. Shit. I just realized I was on mute. Fuck. Okay.
Yes.
God damn
Sorry.
it!
Okay.
And I just
So,
realized my phone's about to die, so I'm
um,
gonna charge it really quick.
no, sorry.
Okay. Would you agree
Hopefully,
2020 for the
2020.
list?
2020. I'm kind of out on it. I don't know. Like McIntyre winning, that was great and all, but
Well, who
I
should?
didn't watch it because like I didn't feel emotionally okay watching it because of what had happened earlier that day that the world was completely shocked by with the death of Kobe Bryant earlier.
Right.
So I didn't watch it, and it sucks because this was on my birthday. But
So,
I was still keeping track with it. But McIntyre winning is like, okay, you know what? I guess it does feel like a feel good moment. Is it in my Rushmore? Not really, but I feel like I'm outnumbered. That the two of you believe it should belong there. So,
well, okay. Well,
my opinion,
let me.
jury's out on it.
Well, okay. So if Drew McIntyre didn't win, who should have won?
Honestly, call me crazy about this, Keith Lee,
You're crazy.
because
You're crazy
if
because
you hit,
no one knew who he was. They were building Drew McIntyre. People kind of knew about Drew McIntyre. Keith Lee was still not a superstar yet. This
okay,
him having the moment he did made him a superstar.
man,
You don't always have to win to be a superstar, and I feel like that part proved it.
you know what, Braun Strowman. Then I think Braun because I think for him to have a legitimate Rumble win, not the stupid greatest Royal Rumble crap, that would have been a lot better.
So you feel
It would have,
You feel like Braun
we
needed
don't.
a. You feel like Braun
and I
needed a Royal
think
Rumble win to solidify himself as a main eventer more than Drew McIntyre needed to.
just in my opinion, I
Okay.
think he honestly that honestly could have been a much, I guess, I still would have set up Braun Drew. That actually could have been good. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Well,
Because
Braun. I think when did he? I don't
or
know.
He
or
wrestled
Braun
Goldberg
King.
because of
He
COVID.
debuted in 15 or 16.
He was
15.
at
I have it
he
written down here
was
somewhere.
well, he was
16.
Yeah.
Braun was 14,
And
yeah,
then he
Drew was
was in every
16.
single one after. But like, if they, I like if they would have pulled the trigger on him, but they didn't want him to beat Roman, so they didn't let him be like strong for a while. But once they finally let him, if they would have let him win the Rumble, I think that would have been like his ticket. Like they would have finally put him over. But then they were just kind of making sure that no one got above Roman status because when Roman came back from getting hurt or from his treatment, they wanted to make sure he had a spot back. So.
Hmm.
I think Easy is kind of has a point where it's like I would have bought Braun getting pushed, Drew getting pushed. I would have bought Brock just beating everyone for the entire time. I would have bought, like Edge coming back, right?
Yeah.
He like if he would have won, like there was
So
a lot of
okay.
different.
So going off of that, so 2020 should not be on the collective list then.
Oh no, I thought we were agreeing for it.
Well, I mean, like I thought you were coming around, because me and
Ah,
you feel that way, but Easy doesn't. I thought you were kind of agreeing with Easy there that maybe it shouldn't be.
No, I was just saying that I agree with Easy where like other people could have I could have seen other people winning it, whatever, but
Right.
despite who should have won it or what I like despite what the WrestleManias look like after the cards or whatever, the mania or the event itself, like the Rumble itself was still like great.
Right. Yeah. Um. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess for that very reason, we will put 2020 on the collective Mount Rushmore. That gives us two open spots,
Two more
and
spots. I was gonna say
mm,
too, it made me laugh when I watched 010 and
yeah,
Drew McIntyre at the time was IC champ and he was
yeah.
like him and Triple H were like beefing it up and then Triple H like ended up eliminating Punk who had a decent Iron Man run for a minute.
um, actually, what about 97? Because me and Geek we put that on our list.
I did not put 97 on my list.
Oh, 97?
I had
I
98, but I
98,
would
sorry.
agree.
Sorry.
98 and
98.
97 are really splitting hairs. I would agree with 97. Like
no, well,
it
okay.
wouldn't
Now,
really,
see, I'm going to disagree with 97 because while it was Austin's first win,
and it was kind of
nothing.
sloppy.
It was sloppy.
He,
He won
yeah.
by like
It's not as
Brett
memorable as,
eliminated
say, one
him.
year later.
Yeah, it wasn't like
If that happened today, we would complain,
yes,
especially if it was like
exactly.
Corbin or
No,
something.
you're
We'd
right.
be like, "Oh, that's it." Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
Oh,
willing
he
to vote. I'm
feet
willing to
his
vote
feet touched the floor,
98
but the
then.
refs didn't see it, so he
yeah,
jumped back in the ring and won. Bullshit! I'm canceling the network. That's what people would say.
yeah.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
But since it was Stone Cold
But
at the
I'm
time,
willing
watching it,
to.
it's like, yeah.
I'm willing to put 98 then.
well, I'm gonna bring up another interesting point, and I'm not just saying this because it's on my list, but which 98? We already
I would
agreed
even say so. Well, if we're
98 or
gonna,
2001 because 2001, yes, it's kind of
I was gonna
you're
say the same thing.
splitting
98 and
hairs.
01 are kind of like the same too. I would go 01 because that was like I was saying. Even all the characters, Austin, The Rock, Kane, Undertaker, all their characters got turned up to 11 at this point. So if you watch this at this point, not only does the crowd pop like fucking crazy, it's almost just like watching a music concert. If you put 01 on or 98 or 99 or whatever, but especially like these years, like especially 01 where Austin wins again, the crowd reacts and stuff, you can show it to anyone and anyone will love it. Like it. So
Okay, I can
all
get that,
three of them.
but is that more important than kind of the the beginning of the Austin era? You see Mike Tyson in 1998. I have a one on my list, but I mean I can definitely see the 1998 point. You know what I'm saying?
In my notes, the only negative I have is in '98. I'm getting tired of the Nation song, and in '01, I'm getting tired of the Right to Censor song. So the only two negatives I have are those. Otherwise, the rest
It's
of the
got a
show is
good beat
great.
to it.
So it's
Oh, I
just
like the
funny.
nations. I like that. It's funny when I had the WWF Warzone game. Of course, obviously, me not realizing fully what the nation was supposed to represent. That was my creator wrestler's theme song. Was the nation theme? Not realizing that I was essentially a white kid from Southern Illinois standing up for the essentially what was the Black Panthers of wrestling at the time. Um, but I mean, we could go either way, and then we have another open spot. You
Well,
know,
'98's also the one where Foley, like I said, had the three
yeah.
apparent gimmick, and Austin beats The Rock for the end of it. So it was kind of like a big deal where it
Here's my
felt
question: we could put '98 and 2001 on there and call it a night. Is there any way I could sell? I could sell the both of you on 92, or is there any way that Easy could sell you or I on 88? I
on
think that's
'88.
yeah, because the first Royal Rumble. I don't know if I don't know if I could be sold, but maybe you could be sold.
Well, I
I
mean,
don't
it
know.
is like
I've never seen that.
pretty bloody historic.
But I mean,
Cause
but it really it was historic, but like okay, I'm gonna use an example real quick. WrestleMania 1 was very historic, but when you go back and watch WrestleMania 1 and you're really trying to look at it like in terms of quality, you're like, this is historic. Was it good? Eh. And that's kind of the vibe I get from 88 is was this historic? Absolutely. It was I mean, I get the most excited about the WWE during Royal Rumble time. So it was historic, and I'm not downplaying the significance of that event to not just WWE, but to wrestling all over. But actually being somewhat objective and trying to look at it with a critical eye, can I honestly look at that show and go, was it good? Or the match itself and go, was it good? I can't do that. You know, I can look back at 92 and go, yeah, the pomp and the pageantry wasn't there, the music wasn't there, the cool fun, Kofi Kingston moments or something like that wasn't happening, but like I can go and go, "Hey, there's some more stakes to this match. The title's on the line. There's an ongoing story. There's a story being told, and there's a bunch of misdirection on who's going to win." Whereas compared to 88, I don't think I can do that. Now, obviously, if he says 88 and he being easy and Eric Wade says 88, then I'm outnumbered and it's on the list. But, you know, if we can't all come to an agreement on a pre 98, a pre Attitude Era Royal Rumble, then we probably could just fill it out the last two spots with 98 and 2001. But, you know, I don't know if I could put 98 on the. I don't know if I could put 98 on the collective list unless I'm outvoted.
I'm okay with that.
There's no way I could sell either one of you on 92.
Not really. I mean, just
Have you even seen
for
92, Easy?
Nate's just like winning it, and then immediately he just jumps ship back to WCW. It's like,
He
so
doesn't
was it a
immediately jump ship back to WCW. He wrestles the Macho Man at WrestleMania, wins the title back from the Macho Man in the summer, and then drops the title to Bret Hart, making Bret Hart the first for the first world title win for Bret Hart. And then when Vince tells him, "Hey, we're going to drop you down to the mid card, but I'll let you walk if you want to," he walked back to WCW. That's what happened. Yeah, he didn't just win and jump. Like, he was there for another year and pretty well gave the proverbial rub to Brett out of it.
Hmm.
I don't know. The ones I haven't seen, it's hard for me to judge on. But like I said, if they're good, I'm gonna have to go ahead and go back and watch them. But if you want to put them on the
Well,
list,
well, well. We could put. Why don't we leave that one up to the fans?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so we'll put 98, 92, and 1988. Those are the three
so wait, what do we
choices.
have definitively? Like two
Well, do you
twenty
want it
and 07?
720? And I feel like we all agreed on 01.
Oh wait, what? I thought it was 20 and 07,
We
and
have
then
20
what?
and 07, but we all seem to be agreeing on 01.
01 instead of 98. Okay.
Yeah, 01 said 98. And then why don't we leave the last spot
Here's the
on.
last one for the fans.
Leave the last one for the fans. So we will post a poll when this episode drops. Um, for the fans to pick what they feel should go to the last spot. Of the three choices that we have nominated, EZ has nominated the first Royal Rumble in 1988, won by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. My pick is 1992, the first Royal Rumble with True Stakes, won by Nature Boy Ric Flair. And Eric has nominated the uh, Royal Rumble that led to the crowning of Stone Cold Steve Austin as the WWF champion at WrestleMania that year, 1998. We'll leave that up to the fans. And the
Yeah, but
last.
I feel if 98 makes it, because like 98 and 01 are interchangeable to me. So if 01's on the list, then I would nominate like something like 015 instead.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Well, uh, said 15 or 16?
15. Well, 15 was on my list, but
You picked 15?
yeah,
You
it's a
picked
good
six?
one. This is the one that Roman wins and he gets booed. It's good.
No.
The cancel
If you're gonna say
WWE Network
2015,
one.
if you're gonna say
Yeah.
2015, then I'm gonna say the greatest Royal Rumble.
You got Dudley returning, Stardust in it. The Wyatts are red hot throughout the entire
But the
thing.
greatest Royal Rumble was the greatest
Bray,
Royal Rumble, and
when
Braun
you're
won a
watching it, Bray
trophy.
Wyatt is probably the best he's been for a while. But
You had
Kane
16 on
breaks
your
his record for like having the most eliminations and stuff like that.
You
But
had 16 on your list
six
for real, and I can get behind that one. I cannot get behind 2015.
16 is almost the same thing though, where it's like Roman enters, people boom, and then Triple H wins. Where it's like nobody wants to see Triple H go on to WrestleMania to win
Okay.
the
Well,
headline
okay.
match.
Well,
So
we've just unlocked another layer of this debate.
although
So,
16 Jericho wins the he gets I no, I think it was later when he actually breaks the record for the most Rumble time or whatever. But and so
uh,
because they're all like 98 and 01, they're so close together, and it's like pretty much the same roster. It's just different.
right.
Like I said, like different. It's just a different costume and
Oh,
different music for some of
okay.
them. But
Well, so I have my pick for the fans. My nomination for the fans is 92. Easy's is 98. So, what do you want to nominate?
let's see. 20 is. I'm good with 20 because that
Well,
was like my pick.
20, 20,
7, oh
20,
01.
one, oh
If
seven,
we
and
have
20
01
are
on
all
there,
on
then we
there.
should just leave. We should just leave the fourth slot open for the fans, whatever. But
That's what
as
I'm
long as
saying.
we had
We just want your nomination. You know, I
right.
have mine. He has his. Which Royal Rumble do you want to be the Eric Wade nomination for the final spot on the Mount Rushmore?
Man, it has to be from my list because
It
sure.
doesn't have to be from your list, but I mean, I'm saying if you're gonna nominate it, present a case why people should vote for it. You know what I mean? Don't just say, I want this year because whatever I need to pick, like, campaign a little. You know what I mean?
Because even 10 was good. That's what I was saying. Like CM Punk comes out. Like the notes that I wrote for the ones that were my favorite, whatever, regardless of what you guys think of them or how they finish or what the
Well,
Romania was resulting with. CM Punk comes out. He GTS's Beth Phoenix. He goes to an Iron Man spot himself before he gets kicked out by Triple H. Intercontinental was a young Drew at the
that
time when
what
it's like no one expected shit from him
that
when he's
was a
all
good run.
skinny and
I
stuff.
like the 2010 Royal Rumble. It just wasn't on my Mount Rushmore. Do you want to nominate 2010?
2020 was my pick. So to the fourth slot, regardless of what I nominate or not, should just be open to what the audience wants.
No, but it's open to the audience. But we're picking something for a poll to vote for. You know what
Let's
I'm
see what
saying?
Dirty says. Ask
Dirt,
Dirty what he wants to pick.
Dirty's not on here. He tried, and I wish he could have been on here because we've been
I
having a good
I
one.
I give my pick to Dirty, whatever he wants to choose.
Well, he's not answering right now. We can't have Dirty. There's gonna be somebody that
Oh, and
doesn't
the
know.
Darius will figure it out. Let's see. I don't know. Whatever. Then pick 16 is my
We'll
pick.
put
There we
16.
go.
Yeah, I just
Okay, well,
realized it was on mute.
that's one from each
I
of our
would leave the
lists.
fourth one up to the fans because
Oh, this is the fourth one.
the three of us made our picks, and I think the fourth one
Well,
should be decided for the fans.
here's how the poll
Because
is gonna go.
from my list, 2020 made it already. 98's interchangeable with 01, so I crossed that off too. 05 and 07 are pretty much interchangeable to me
Right.
too, so that only leaves me with 16 also, which 16 is fine. Like I said, like I was
Well,
watching all of them. It was
here's
whether or
what the
not ever.
poll is
But
going to be.
my partial one, if you're gonna like, if my partial one was 19 with Nakamura and Oscar one, because that's the Mania I went to in New Orleans where I saw them headline their spots, but
Right.
then both go to crash and burn. So that's why I didn't personally make my list too. But
Well,
at the
here
same
is
time,
here is the poll that will be on Twitter, and I'll try and create a poll for Facebook and my Instagram as well. But for sure on Twitter, there is going to be four choices. There's going to
process
be
of elimination, I choose 16.
so the first one is going to be Easy's unused pick, and that is 1988, the first Royal Rumble. My unused pick, 1992, the one with the most significance, and then 2016, Eric's unused pick, the one with just had a lot of great action, a lot of it had some debuts. Uh, just a good Rumble, and then the fourth and final option will be other. Please specify, and we'll run this poll for a week. Um, Hell, there may even be people say this year's after this week is over, and we will then definitively. I'll post on my social medias what the Athletic Geek and friends, the Marks, the Just Us Marks. What our Mount Rushmore of Royal Rumbles is after the poll is concluded. So we got three. We leave number four up to all of you out there, and we want to thank each and every one of you for giving this a listen. If you enjoyed, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of comic books, anime, gaming, and all things geek culture. Follow me on my social media pages and vote. Facebook.com/AthleticGeek89. Twitter athletic underscore geek 89, and Instagram at athletic geek 89. And Easy, you got some social media you'd like to plug?
Yes, and because it's actually been a while, some sad news to say. The Elite Era is no more. However, it does not mean I'm not a wrestling fan anymore. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be on this show. I'm launching a new. I rebranded the Elite Era Network. It is now called Speakeasy. A little play on to the old school prohibition bars called Speakeasy, but in this case, it's a mental health motivation to just make sure nobody feels alone, and that it's okay that if you don't feel good, or if you're not having the best of days. Well, I'm over talking this. You get the picture, but
Right.
just want to make sure that nobody feels alone out there. It is Speakeasy Tweets. That is the Twitter. I am also on Snapchat and TikTok and Instagram. Snap Easy TikTok, and Snap Easy Insta. You can pinpoint which programs they belong to. But yeah, I always love being with you guys. And 2021, it's gonna be a great year.
And hopefully the
And
Royal Rumble's
yeah,
going to be great this year as well.
let's see. Let's hope
Well,
so.
we'll see. And Definitely also check us all out on our live stream where we'll be giving our Royal Rumble predictions and where our normal Just Us Marks wrestling recap show where we'll all be discussing the week in wrestling. But Eric, you got anything for sale on Macari?
Yeah, we got beanies with little balls on top. You want
Okay.
them? We got them.
Well, hopefully by the time this episode drops, they'll still be able to buy them, but definitely plug that on the live stream as well. But for the rest of the marks, that is that is it for us. We'll see you next time.